Let that be a lesson. Don't let your stuff get distracted. Star Wars Galaxy's Heroes day by day. We get distracted. Apologies. Apologies. I forget what I was like, what am I doing? Got to watch that video on, and I'm like, wait a minute. I missed some stuff. We get some Nihilus fragments. We get some Drogon fragments. We get close to getting this done. We're like 4 away, but we're like already maxed out. So we already maxed using crystals. But what we can do, you see, I've already used my whatever for mod stuff. Now all we have is the blue energy left. So that's something. Didn't mean for it to happen. Hopefully, I'm sure all of you have experienced where you're like, what am I doing? Then you get to watch that clip, and you're like, oh, forget what I was doing. Anyway, I think the Jinx and Brain's going to be here for a while, guys. And then we were hoping for the raid February, March. I think the prevailing thought is May, June. Now. But I mean, that all that does is just give you more time to build up whoever before you have to shift in the raid prep mode. So you know that, hey, we're gonna be in the boot for a while. So you really don't have to move on and start building whatever else. I watched Arnold's video today, aka El Duce Prime. And he was talking about why are these raid changes not why are they just coming that they've done this months ago. And then he's talking about, well, you know, how you get a problem anywhere else. You get it taken care of right then. If there's a problem, you should get it taken care of right then. You don't wait. You don't wait 4 or 5 months to put in the fix. And, you know, he's like everybody else. I'm sure there are days when you think I have really good points. I'm sure there are days when you think what are you talking about, bro? And that's the same with everybody, I feel like. But it was a really good point Arnold made today. He and if you watch that video, once again, by the way, today's the 25th. You go back and watch the video that he did today on the 25th. He knows that there is a crate dragon, a Zillow beast theory out there. And he's like, yeah, I know the Bad Batch fought this dragon or whatever. I don't even remember what it was. And it's like, you know, and I guess credit CG a little bit. They're keeping what the rate is going to be under their vests, because if they let people know what it is too soon, then like I was, you're probably going to start farming whatever you're farming, and you're going to go get ready for whatever else is coming, which I think is really smart. I think it's a smart thing to do if you did go and do that. I mean, because I don't know why you wouldn't if you were doing that. I'm just didn't mean to get distracted. It just happens sometimes. Oh no, but I think it's safe to say that it's gonna be. I mean, if you were to ask me, okay, what do you think is a sweet spot? What do you think would cover? What do you think could be farmed that would cover as many bases as possible? Um, that's a tough call because thinking about what I know, because there's the gerbils because there's the gerbils theory that it's going to be a Death Star, and he believes it's like a Republic era, like, and they're definitely going to come up with that he thinks the next era, like after this era, he thinks the next era is going to be Republic, and it's going to introduce the new capital ship because he thinks, like, I think that we're not getting a jail this year, but he thinks we're going to get a capital ship, which I would say would be great. And he thinks said capital ship is going to lead us into the raid. Um, and so Republic wise, there's nothing that you could get that would cover that if it does end up being a Death Star raid. If it ends up being a Zillow Beast, obviously, it's the new Bad Batch. Well, I mean, it could be either Bad Batch. It could be no, it has to be this. It would have to be this set of Bad Batch, so you couldn't go use the other Bad Batch because the other Bad Batch didn't encounter the Zillow Beast. It was this, which is why I think, which is why if you go back to my Bad Batch video that I did, it's like, why didn't they put Hemlock, Emery, everybody else in the game? Because that would have been great. Because that way you could have had a Imperial Zillow Beast team. But then there's, First Order minus Supreme Leader Kylo Ren that is in this apparent Zillow Beast thing, and then just random Jedi that haven't been used in any other raid would be there, and apparently Old Republic would be involved in that raid too. And then Peridia. I just don't think there's enough. I just don't think there's enough stuff for Peridia. And I think if it was pretty, it would be out right now. Because if it's pretty, the longer we get away from those requirements being in the game, if the raid doesn't come out in June, you've had 6 months to farm those characters from the pretty raid, whether it's Balin or the Balin requirements or the Ahsoka requirements. And if you do a lot in June, well, July comes and things are going to start becoming double farmable. And it's like the more time you give between now and June, that gives people time to finish their projects and then figure out, okay, now do I want to, now do I want to get Padawan to Bean? How do I want to put together a random droid team with Hu Yang? That's something I'm thinking about now that Hu Yang is farmable. But so if you're asking me what do you think the silver bullet is, I think it's just as simple as you got to go with your gut. What does your gut tell you? Does your gut tell you that it's going to be Peridia? Does your gut tell you that it's going to be Zillow Beast? Does your gut tell you that it's going to be Death Star? Because obviously they all have their merits. And if you're a person that has like you're at 10 million or whatever, you're not worried about that. But if you're a person like me sitting here at 4 million, then there's more thought that needs to go into it. if you're a person that's behind me, there's obviously a lot of thought that needs to go into it. So you just got to go with what you need. I don't think you could prepare for the raid. I think you just got to go with what you need. And if that's Leia, go after Leia. If it's Jabba, go after Jabba. If it's Balin, go after Balin. You know, if it's Bad Batch, go after Bad Batch. And, you know, maybe you get lucky and maybe one of those teams end up being something that you can use for the raid. Because it's like I've talked about before, Indoor was incredibly fortuitous because, you know, they let us know like months ahead of time, hey, here's what you need. It's basically everything everybody's farming at the beginning of the game anyway, as far as troopers, Phoenix, a little Phoenix, some Ewoks. Like if you're going for CLS, you have Ewoks. You could put there's you could put 3PO, Han, and Chewie on there too. And then everybody else was basically geo requirements. And then with this Naboo raid that we're still in, outside of maybe Grievous droids, there's nothing really that you would want to farm. You know, you look at Grievous droids. You know, obviously I had to stop and do these three bozos here that you see here. Grievous droids that I'm not even to yet. You know, there is Close a pilot, so that's good. Mace the pilot, so that's good. Nobody else is a pilot. The Gungans do help add value. And I would say if you're thinking about Gungans, because you're like, maybe Gungans are good, there's still time to get value out of the Gungans. But you have to go. And you have to start now. Because the longer you wait on Gungans, the less value you're going to get out of them. And yes, they have some wonky Omicrons. I know that. You know, like the Galactic Challenge Omicron and the was it a Conquest Omicron or something? I don't know. I know one of them has a Raid Omicron. I know one of them has a Galactic Challenge Omicron. I think one of them has a Conquest Omicron. But for me, and I think I've alluded to this recently, the big draw for me is apparently they walk through proving grounds. I don't know. I've not tested that. But I'm like, it might be worth looking at a little bit. Might be worth doing. And if you're asking me, hey, are you gonna go for Gungans? I mean, this one's in fleet. Still gotta go get scouts required to fleet at some point. That's not great. This guy's on the lake side, is super expensive. This one's a cantina with. This one's early cantina, so maybe. I don't know. There's definitely some attraction. And I will say this, if we can get Drogon, if we can get Marauder done fast enough, and if I can acquire the signal data fast enough to get me to where I need to be. So if I can finish the Nihilist and the Cyan farm, I mean, I mean, yeah, if we shut it down, if we finish Niles and Scion, and we finish Drogon and Marauder, and I can get the signal data that I need fast enough, then I will definitely look at seeing how feasible a Gungan farm would be. Do I have any idea right now how feasible it is? No. And maybe it's not. Maybe, Priority Patrol ends up being more. I mean, because it would be something, right? Because we just look at it. I mean, obviously, the Gungans are going to be double shark farmable sooner than the Priority Patrol is. But we know that there's 4 Gungans that you have to do, and one is in Fleet, one is in Cantina, and the other 2 are on hard nodes. And then we come down here to where's the other one? I don't know where the other one is. Where's Enoch? I don't know where Enoch is. But if we just look here, D8 on the same node with Wicket, it's expensive, but it's Boss Nass, whatever. And then Night Trooper is 8C. Okay. And then Enoch is Enoch. I think Enoch's Remnant, right? They're both Remnant. Okay, well, not bad. But Enoch is 8C. So, I mean, if you're Fleet, I mean, at least you're getting some value if you need Poe, if you need Wicket. Those are shard drop currency. If you have them done, then any Poe and any Wicket you pull are going to be shard drop currency. And you can say the same thing, and you could probably get the Gungan that's in the Cantina fast, and you'd be getting Han shard drop currency. But here you're getting Poe and Wicket potentially. But, I mean, there's 3 of them that are on hard nodes. Expensive hard nodes. I don't know. It's definitely a question worth asking. I'm just not sure what the answer is. But I'd love to know your thoughts. But I think if you decided to go Gungans, I don't think it's a waste. If you decide to go Priority Patrol, I don't think it's a waste. If you wanted to do Shinar Merrick, it's probably not a waste. I mean, just going in Balin, it's not going to be a waste. But there are things that if you don't have, like other legendaries, I might go for them first instead of going for Balin, but that's just me. And that's not me speaking from a GAC standpoint. I mean, if you're a GAC person, then GAC your heart away. But if you're somebody that's thinking about other game modes and you're thinking about the raid or raids, then I think the answer is you just pick a lane and go. Just pick a lane and go. Whether it's Gungans, whether it's Priority Patrol, because you're gonna get some value out of either of those squads. Right now, honestly, Bad Batch, I mean, unless you honestly are all in believing that Bad Batch are going to be in the raid, which, because there's an event, there's a very good chance that's what they're doing, is they're saying, hey, we're going to temper expectations. The defeat's going on. And then they flip the script in 6 months and be like, oh, by the way, Bad Batch. You need the Bad Batch for the raid. It just depends on how much. If you love Bad Batch, then it's a no-brainer. If you're trying to think through, then think through, but don't let it paralyze you. And just know that there's a time when you have to either, for lack of a better phrase, go or get out of the pot, basically. You just have to be able to thread that needle, and it's a hard thing to do. Anyway, I think we're about done with everything. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, fine. Let me know what you think. I also want to know. They talk about it's fine. They're going to offend me at all. Anyway, hold the line because they're coming for us sooner or later, whether you like it or not. Take it easy. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks very much. Bye.